very often what you said is that we are providing the only counter source of information in some cases. Like, how do you square this with this kind of view that what we are doing through journalism is limiting people's perspective on the world?
Yeah, it kind of aligns with what I've heard some colleagues in Europe and elsewhere say, is that we're not taking away information. We're adding extra information so that the people and we're not telling people they can't make decisions. So we're not censoring, to get to kind of the core of the issue there. We never take anything down other than a fake network. But in terms of information, what we do is we add additional context to the information that people are getting so that they've got a fuller picture when they have to make a decision, and they've got more facts to base their decision on. Often the people who are making the loudest noise about kind of saying that they don't like the work we do are the ones who don't want people to hear any voice except their own voice. And so what we're doing often is we don't just do the fact-checking and the disinformation work that you're referring to. We've also got a division that builds civic technologies, and we've got a media and CSO support division, and we work with various other kind of minority groups. And basically what we're doing is we're elevating people's voices, ordinary citizens' voices, so that there are more voices, more information for people to base their decision-making on. So I think that's one of the ways. But also I think we're also fairly humble about saying we're not always going to get it right. And so we are open to corrections. And so we work with things like Wikipedia and elsewhere, where we subject our work to external review, and where necessary, we make corrections. And so I think because we understand that although facts don't change, the context and their meaning might change in the world. And so we're also constantly updating and recontextualizing information and research that we've done. I think that's our approach, and I think it's stood us in good stead in the 12 odd years. So prior to doing the current job, I used to be anti-corruption mercenary war investigative reporter. And there I got sued on a weekly basis for millions of dollars. In the last 12 years at Code for Africa, we've been doing as hard-hitting work, but because we've had the luxury of being more rigorous about that kind of peer review, fact-checking approach, where you have other experts look at your work, we've actually never been sued successfully. We've had a handful, maybe once a year, a court case, and our research has stood up in courts repeatedly, including in cases like with kind of Bell Pottinger that I referred to, where very large, very rich consultancies have to go disband because they've been proven to be wrong. So that's the one point. The second point is we tend to focus on things that we prioritize. So where people are being covert, so where there's secrecy, we shine a light on it, so it's no longer secret. Where we've been treating mis and disinformation not as an ideological literacy issue. We treat it as organized crime. And so we're saying, if it's wrong information, for us to get involved, is there evidence that there was a fraudulent act? Is it fraudulent? Does it meet that kind of the benchmark of being fraudulent? And then we get involved. So we've also raised the bar, which means if people want to argue about, religiously about whose God is best or most accurate, we don't get involved in those discussions. And so often it means that where they're value-based disagreements, that those are healthy things that society should allow, and that people should be allowed to disagree strongly with each other. But the moment that there's secret, covert manipulation of the facts in a fraudulent way, that's where it means that a watchdog does need to step in and shine light on it so that people understand that what they're assuming to be facts might actually be a deliberate manipulation by someone who's trying to distort their world.